The Hollywood epic Australia, directed by Baz Luhrmann, is easily comparable to Australian poem "Took the Children Away" by Archie Roach. Although Australia discusses the concepts and landscapes of society more broadly, the elements of Indigenous persecution pervade the plot. "Took the Children Away" centralises entirely on the removal of Indigenous Australians. Due to both texts being related by context and content, the concerns they raise are comparable. Racial prejudice is evident within both texts as they explore the segregative and damaging policies imposed by the Australian governments upon Indigenous Australians. In a familiar fashion, both Luhrmann and Roach examine the tension between appearance and reality, whereby superficial assertions are marred by deeper issues. In this scene from Australia, McGeary is informing Drover about Lady Ashley's arrival, however is mocked during the conversation. The use of symbolism of the swinging door as a barrier between cultures, and the segregation of Indigenous Australians from society. The point of view shot makes Drover equal to McGeary, and positions viewers to think they are too, meaning Drover is a part of a lower level of society with Indigenous Australians. This is then supported with the dialogue, "Run after your young friend." The mockery of Aboriginal places them in a lower tier of society, with Drover associated with them as well. A quote from the poem in stanza 1, line 4 to 5 states, "And how they fenced us in like sheep, said to us, 'Come, take our hand.'" The technique of zoomorphism in the poem is utilized to oppress the Aboriginals like animals and savages, in need of domestication. The metaphor for "take our hand" is used as a sign for happiness and a symbolic relationship. Juxtaposition is then used and relates to the deceit factor of truth and deceit, due to the reality in which it actually is. The connection between this quote and the scene is the theme of racial segregation. The way McGeary and Drover were treated at the bar, and how Indigenous Australians were treated in "Took the Children Away." It is clearly portrayed that Indigenous Australians must follow the laws of the new society by the conquerors, treating the Indigenous like they are not human and displaced from their own country. As you can see in this scene, the color symbolism of black is symbolized with the theme of death and the foreshadowing of the attack on Mission Island later in the film. The close-up camera shot of the priest's face reveals the emotion of Solomon and showing viewers deceit. The theme of deceit is reinforced with the dialogue saying "safe in God's hands," when in fact their deaths are imminent when the bombings begin. The barbed wire in the screenshot is another symbol of separation between Nulla and Lady Ashley. This can be represented as the barrier between the Indigenous Australians' freedom and control by conquerors. This quote in stanza 1, line 11 to 13 reads, "Snatched from their mother's breast, said this is for the best, took them away." The use of high modality in the word "snatched" gives the readers a perspective and how personal it is for their child to be taken away from them. The dialogue saying, "this is for the best," is the deception by the conquerors to the Indigenous to take their child, and teach them their ways of living instead of the natural way through their biological parents. The relationship between the two texts is the theme of truth and deceit. The process of the conquerors continually deceiving the Indigenous Australians to feed them lies which brings no benefit for them is the act of truth and deceit. The way the conquerors came to Indigenous Australians and took their children away for the greater good, but is just to teach them ways of the new society and get rid of the old but original society. More unfortunate, the Indigenous can't do much about it as their power is too small compared to the conquerors, and is hence boxed in and maintained like they aren't even human. This is how truth and deceit is conveyed in the text. In conclusion, the Hollywood epic Australia, directed by Baz Luhrmann and Took the Children Away by Archie Roach, is comparable to one another through a series of visual and literary techniques such as symbolism and zoomorphism. Racial prejudice was revealed within both texts, with the two main themes, racial segregation and truth and deceit.